Hello friends and welcome to episode 705 of the ChairShot Podcast. We are back once again to talk everything good in the world of wrestling, films, life and whatever else is going on. Joined by my good friend Paul Griffin.
Hello Joe.
Here he is, producer and just all-round bloody great bloke.
Very fluffy haired today.
He's looking swarthy.
I'm looking like your man out of Seinfeld who went a bit racist that one time.
Yes, he did. Let's hope none of that today. We're not joined by Mr. Barry Murphy because he is away on his stag do, aka his bachelor party, living it up. He's in Newcastle, it turns out. Mm-hmm. So interesting.
I mean, it's, you know, the TV show Lost.
Yeah.
Where about these people on an island, you might have heard about it, but they would have all these little connections in the flashbacks where it would be like, oh, these people met and they didn't realize, or this character, there was actually an allusion to another character they didn't know. So Barry's in Newcastle at his stag, right? John Moxley, you might have caught this last night on the pre-show for All In. I don't know if you watched the pre-show, but he was doing an interview with Renee. And they're sitting in the car driving around. He had a little cap on. What's on the cap? Newcastle United.
Oh, we're the lads.
Right.
Yeah, I did see the picture of that. So Barry will not be joining us, but he can give us his thoughts when he's back. But for now, we are going to dive straight into All In. And then do a few bits and bobs afterwards. But yeah, All In Texas, biggest show of the year. The third AEW All In. Of course, we were at the last two at Wembley.
I was going to say, this was our first one that we have not been there in person. How was that experientially for you to not be there for this one?
Annoying, isn't it? I was like, well, why am I not there? I should be at the granddaddy of them all. It's I think it was helped by the time difference, actually, because obviously this show was an afternoon show. So for us, pre-show side at 6, main show side at 8. I mean, that is perfection.
Yes.
Saturday. I mean, you can't ask for better than that. I mean, obviously, we still did end up going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but, you know,
we'll take it.
Do. But yeah, it was good. How I enjoyed. It's always strange because I think I've only ever seen one pay-per-view before in prime time, which is when I was in the US and I watched Dynasty.
Yes.
Because normally for us, it is a very strange sort of, it's almost like a dirty little secret because it's like, I'm up 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. No one else is awake. No one else is around. Just watching my seedy little, wrestling show. Yeah. Now this felt like you're actually, part of something and it's a real thing. How did you enjoy it watching it?
I mean, I guess that novelty was there for sure, but I've watched a few of these blood money dick pay-per-views that WWE have put on.
Right.
Over the years, and or even the less blood money paid for shows in Paris or whatever. So I've seen a few shows in the middle of the day, and there is that nice feeling to it where you're not being, like you said, up until 5, 6 in the morning. It was strange. It was strange watching it from home, because as they talked about, AEW haven't done many shows to this scale. And there was a little bit of FOMO, I suppose. I mean, first of all, I thought the show was very good. It kind of was a show of two halves, though. It kind of didn't really fit into gear until
there was quite a specific turning point, which we'll come to. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I just general thoughts. Really, really good show. Nothing on there that was too kind of disappointing. I think the matches we expected to do well were good.
Yes,
the stuff that maybe weren't as cool on were not as good.
If you were going to ask me outright, would this be among the top AEW shows? I would probably knee-jerk reactions say no. And yet, when I'm thinking about it, there were 4 matches that have, I think, very good chance of getting 5 stars in the upcoming Observer. So 4 5-star candidates, I think you take that,
Yeah, it didn't feel as consistently good for me as Double or Nothing. But as you say, higher highs because it was the climax of so many things.
And it did feel very climactic. It did achieve that, I suppose.
So did you watch the 0 hour?
I watch
every minute.
I watch every 0 hour of every show.
You sick son of a bitch.
Even when they call it, what's the one that's not 0 hour?
The buy-in. Was it the buy-in?
Buy-in, yes. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I didn't watch all of it. I kind of jumped in and out. I didn't see what's the Big Boom, AJ and the Rizzler.
Oh, you didn't see the Big Boom match? Okay.
No, I did see a bit of the first one. So what? Any thoughts outside of the matches? Anything notable? It was another nice kind of setup. I do like the way they do it, where they're on the floor with the crowd behind them. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, first impressions were, even before they started talking, was that the layout looked fantastic. I mean, whatever the concerns were about the attendance, they don't always succeed at this, but they made 25,000 look like 45,000.
Yeah.
It looked like the place was packed through. Even Wembley 2024, when you watch the clips of that, the way it's shot, you can tell it's like 2/3 of the stadium packed.
Yeah.
And then there's all these bits where, don't look over there.
Yeah.
There's no one. You have the stage and then like blacked out around stage. Here, the way they shot on, I guess, having been at Wembley, we're privy to, these are the black zones or whatever. But even, watching back the footage, it kind of, you can kind of pick up on it. Here, it had, I thought, a much better sense of looking like a packed out stadium.
Yeah. I think it helps. Obviously, it's dark. Well, no, firstly, they did sell a fair amount. It's not like it was half empty. I think if let's say it's a 40,000 seater and they had 25 to 30 in there, like that's pretty full, really. I mean, it's not full, but it's like a good size anyway. Also, it's dark. They had the roof closed. And if it's dark, you can hide a multitude of sins, whereas Wembley is 100,000 potential crowd in broad daylight with red seats. You can't really hide any empty sections. But no, I agree. This did look really, really good. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Passed the eye test for sure.
It wasn't any more surreal that we were in daylight and it was dark on the show.
Yes.
It looked like, that was another
there was kind of, in terms of the venue, kind of WrestleMania 19 vibes.
Yeah.
And that's a stadium, but there was, you could see the light peering in from outside. It didn't feel like they were in a big arena. It did feel like a big stadium show.
Yeah, it did.
And the stage was very good. It didn't quite knock me dead like, again, last year's Wembley one did, which I just thought but I thought it looked big and important. I thought the ring and the rig above the ring probably did look better though than what we got at Wembley. So swings and roundabouts. We got the 0 hour then, hosted by Renee, Paul White, Jeff Jarrett, and RJ City, and then a variety of rotating guests. I don't know how hot it was in Texas. I'm going to assume even inside it was probably very hot. I know they have aircon and so on. Paul White did need to have a little sit down at one point.
He did, didn't he?
I was saying to him, I feel it, because here, as we were watching it, it was like 8 o'clock yesterday evening. I think it was still in the 29-30 degree range. So
very warm,
absolutely boiling. So I was, I felt Paul White's pain, but the highlight, like I said, was the Renee Moxley interview.
Yeah,
I like how they've kind of talked around the fact that Renee is married to this evil murderer man.
I love that whenever they reference it, she's just sort of like does like a little face like
well, even here she was kind of subtly alluding to the fact that while everybody in the world is cheering for Hangman Page, that maybe not everybody feels that way. And she was kind of she wasn't like healing it up, but she was being a little bit like, I'm kind of in the middle, I kind of might be leaning on the Moxley side. And then the interview was very good. It was funny because it was shot like a James Corden carpool karaoke bit. with no singing, just instead Renee dropping F-bombs, which is very funny. But yeah, I mean, that was that. And of course, then they went through the various matches. They brought on your Madison Reigns. They brought in Josh Matthews for his first on-camera AEW.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing here?
It was sure he's been working backstage for about 6 months or so.
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that. So when he turned up, I was like,
he's still married to Madison Rain, by the way, because they were back to back interviewed here. And then, you know, it was they were doing your typical, who do you think's going to win, the Bucks or Swerve? Like, I don't really have care much for that kind of.
It's a bit silly, isn't it? It's a bit silly because they don't know who's going to win, I assume, but it's also like, it's the sort of thing you do on a football game, but wrestling is just.
I think they still need to work out how to best use that time. Obviously, they want to sell you on the matches and they want to sell you on the storylines, but I wonder with AEW, maybe more so than WWE, you can be a bit more wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like let's not totally kayfabe and pretend that this is like real, but maybe have sort of a hybrid thing where you can talk about the storylines, talk about kind of bring people up to date where we are, but also talk about, look, this match is going to be fucking great. You know, and
yeah. Don't
be concerned about, will the Young Bucks continue to abuse their power? That's what I'm most concerned about. And then we got the matches, which I guess the first match, the Big Boom.
No, we had the 8-man tag, which was the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes,
right,
Von Erich brothers, and Guevara against Shane Taylor Promotions.
Okay, so actually, what happened was earlier than that, they were doing the run through of the various upcoming matches, and then kind of out of nowhere, they announced that Adam Cole wasn't cleared, and even they seemed caught unawares. By that announcement. I believe Tony Khan had done a Twitter live about 5 minutes before, where he announced it on Twitter, and then they announced it as part of the pre-show. And they announced the replacement match there and then as well, which was the Sons of Texas versus Fletcher and Garcia, which was kind of, okay, so Sons of Texas, are they going to cancel the pre-show match, change that to something else, or are they going to wheel poor old Dustin Rhodes and his knees out for double duty?
Yeah,
which turned out to be the case. That did turn out to be right. But even then, it was very unclear what was happening for those few minutes between the announcement that the matches had changed and the Sons of Texas match actually beginning, which obviously made sense to get them out first. Then the match didn't go super long, and it was an 8-man tag anyway, so
it wasn't even really a match. Just a bunch of people wandering in and out.
Get Dustin and Sammy out, and then get backstage where they can rest up for 4 hours before, you know, going out again. They had Kevin Von Erich in their corner in Texas, of course, which was we obviously saw him up in London last year, where they basically did this same match. Maybe not the same.
He comes out every year and do the same spot with Kevin. I'll be very happy with that. Good luck to him.
I was sneakily, I didn't mention on here, but in the week I had predicted that he would actually be in the Gauntlet match as kind of a legend surprise.
Yeah.
When I saw him walk out, I realized that probably was not the best idea, because he was. Wrestling is not ballet, and his body was showing a bit of the repercussions of that. But, you know, great to see the boys. They did the bit where they all did the claw again. You know, that's what you get with these segments.
We suddenly got the two Rhodes boys. This always seems to happen. Suddenly there'll be just a new generation of a particular wrestling family will just spawn. Like, I've never heard them before, and suddenly there's two 23-year-old Rhodes brothers that are now part of this new clan. Like, oh, okay, and one of them looks exactly like Dusty Rhodes, and the other one looks like Cody.
One looks exactly like Cody Rhodes. It's like a clone.
It was very strange.
Which is funny because they're they're not obviously Cody's children, but they're also not Dustin's children. They're the nephews, right?
Nephews of Dustin, yeah.
But they are. You can tell that they are part of that family. They're so weirdly. It was like Cody Rhodes went back in time.
Yeah,
and threw a cowboy hat on and came out here. He looks exactly like Cody when Cody debuted in like 2008 or whatever it was.
Yeah, very slim and sort of with the dark hair,
and the kind of sharp chin. Let's see how they get out. I mean, I wonder, are we gonna do anything with these Von Erich kids at any point? Because, like you say, it feels like they just show up at All In.
Yeah,
I still don't really understand the logic of them being on last year's show. Whatever about All In Texas, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then are they just like in Ring of Honor? I mean, they are still the Ring of Honor trios champions with Dustin.
With Dustin, yeah.
I don't know how many times they've defended that or how active they are.
How many matches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Had about 11 matches this year, including which isn't, I suppose that's a fair few compared
that's
to
right. That's all right.
A lot of the roster, they don't wrestle that often these days. So yeah, they're not like I've not seen anything that would make you think they should be on the roster, kind of, mixing it up in the main tag division. So, we'll see. Following that, we had another 8-man tag team match. If you didn't like the first one, another one came along pretty quickly.
Is that the Rizzler out your window, by the way?
Yeah, I've just kicked him as he walked past, Trent Beretta style. So we had Big Boom AJ, which is the dad, not the son.
That's Big Justice.
That Big Justice is the son. You'd think it'd be the other way around, but anyway. With the Conglomos, Hologram, Kyle O'Reilly, Ishii.
That is like the NWO Japan. Like that is not the main conglomeration members,
It's the leftovers of the conglomeration. Speaking of which, the leftovers of the Don Callis family as well.
Yes.
This was like one of those pre-season friendlies in football where it's like Man United versus Chelsea, but you've never heard of any of the players.
Yeah, the Man United player you recognize will be like Johnny Evans in defense.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
I didn't watch this. Any takeaways?
I mean, there was a brief backstage on Collision as well, which is very funny. I mean, Tomohiro Ishii is not in the G1 this year because he's over here tagging with Big Boom AJ and checking on Big Justice after he's been shoved to the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, these are connections the likes of which you never thought you would ever see, I mean, the match itself, what was very funny was also Kyle O'Reilly doing the Rizzler face during the entrance. I don't know if you've seen that.
Right,
clip.
yes. I saw that.
Very, very, very funny. I mean, he did a tremendously funny promo. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly is a very, very funny guy. I don't know if you've ever seen his AEW appearance.
No.
But he's like super funny. Yeah. Which is funny because his character is more like historically has been more of a kind of shooter character, but he's got a good comedic instincts. I wonder whether they could do something with that at some point. But the match itself was good. I don't know if Hechicero got the memo to like go easy on Big Boom AJ. He's not a real wrestler. He was not treating this fella as a little celebrity tie-in. He was beating the fuck out of him. And yeah, as you said, Trent gave Big Justice a big old pie face.
Good.
Which Big Justice then gave him the old Goldberg spear. Big Justice legitimately hitting a better looking spear than Jey Uso has ever hit.
Well, yeah, of course. Rizzler dressed as little
cowboy.
Little Jim Ross. I thought that was Jim Ross at first, but it was
oh dear.
Yeah, it was the Rizzler.
It was the Rizzler, and he did multiple Riz faces, which I think I popped for every single one.
Is it still going these two? I mean,
I don't know. I only know these guys through
they're like the Von Erichs. They only show up for All-Ins, and then we think they go away. I assume they exist in TikTok somewhere.
I don't want to spoil. We'll obviously do a Fancy League update post our All-In talk. But Big Boom AJ is now 4th in the table for points per match. He's had 2 matches this year, both on pay-per-view, won both of them. So an average of 7 points per match. You might need to bring him in. But yeah, they of course got the win. I mean, anytime you see on the run sheet, Big Boom AJ plus anybody, and any of those are on your fancy team, the points bags.
Just disappeared there, yeah.
Yeah. So you had a little Kyle O'Reilly bonus, and I had a little hologram bonus. Which was great.
Know. Well, I suddenly, once I saw the pre-show, I was like, got Kyle O'Reilly. Oh, got FTR. All of a sudden, I went from six people on the card to 10. In the space of about 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, you and Barry had everybody on your teams scheduled to wrestle, which we'll come to later on.
Yeah.
Then we had FTR Outrunners, which was a redo of their Collision match from a couple of weeks ago. I don't think it was quite as good as that match, but still a very good turnout.
Michelle was asking me this because she was like, "Oh, you guys seem kind of down on the Outrunners," and I was like, "No, we love them," but they just had that match with the Hurt Syndicate that was just like it shit the bed, and it was like, well, maybe they shouldn't be on pay-per-view in the big tag matches. Maybe they're more of a TV, they come out, they do a funny segment, have a little match. But I think, they had a good match with FTR on the show I watched the Collision one. That was really good.
Oh, you did watch it, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it actually while this one was on. So I'm now I'm now one FTR and Outrunners match behind. So I'm always one behind.
Yeah.
But I call the end of this. It looked all right. I think FTR.
It was a slightly less exciting version of the Collision match. Which, I mean, look, FTR I think should have been on the show anyway, given their standing, and they were kind of all over the show. They were involved in multiple segments.
Yeah.
Outrunners, to your point, I do like, but it does feel like they kind of come in and go out on a whim. They don't get like built up, and I guess this is more of criticism of all the tag team division. Teams don't have good little runs and then get a title shot. It's Hurt Syndicate beat whoever. Okay, who else have we got? Outrunners. Even though you've lost 7 matches in a row, you get the title shot.
Yeah.
So it's not really a criticism of the Outrunners themselves. Although I do think with the right opponent, they can put on a show. Yeah. Without the right opponent, they're not carrying anybody to a good match.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Of course not. No. But they're okay. Well, that brought us into the main show. So we kicked off. Well, we had a video package, obviously, and all that, which I think I missed because I tried to load it on Triller and it just froze. So I reloaded it and it was already like the match starting. So I kind of missed all that. But anyway, I'm sure it was wonderful. Our first match was the World Trios title, the Ops against the Death Riders with Gabe Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like I could have made a bit more of the third person. We kind of, I guess, we assumed they sort of slotted Gabe Kidd in as Pac, and so as if we would have noticed, almost like, I just swap Pac out and put Gabe Kidd in, and it's like basically a substitute. But I feel like we need a bit more kind of, I don't know, weight to that. Like, why is he riding with the Death Riders now? You know what I mean? Why is he slotting in so easily? There's not really been an explanation for that. But, he's good. So it's not...
Well, he's a bit of a crazy man who likes attacking people and kicking them. I get your point, though, is that they should have had maybe a segment where he got, formally...
Just, some kind of, Gabe Kidd is aligned with the Death Riders.
Here's your plain white V-neck.
Yeah. Was that a segment on Collision that I missed, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, the match.
Would that be Death Rider equivalent of when Aces and Eights used to give people vests?
I'll give people the vest. I mean, why not? Give him the induction. What did you make of the match? I thought it was decent, not blowing me away, which a little bit. Last year you had the ladder match starting things off.
Cheat
which
code.
Again was a kind of multi-man match, but at least it was a ladder match, so quite exciting. Because obviously the tendency is with pay-per-views to start with a big match to get the crowd going. They haven't really done that last 2 years. It's been sort of tag division matches, but this one felt a little bit strange to open with. You know what I mean? It was could they have gone with something hotter?
Yeah, I mean, the first 3 or so matches here the crowd weren't jumping out of their seats with joy either, which I don't think helped the feel of the match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought the match itself was very good. I've been really getting into Shibata lately for whatever reason. Just his last couple of weeks, I've really enjoyed. Him and Gabe Kidd obviously have the history as well, so they played into that a lot here. They had a singles match in Collision as well last week or the week before. I think I've said before, and sounded a lot like Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wheeler and Claudio. I mean, it's a while since I've really got excited for a match involving either of those. Gabe Kidd, I do like. And obviously Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe especially. I mean, I actually like all three of those a lot. So if I have Shibata, Hobbs, or Joe involved, it's pretty much going to be a good time. Interestingly, we did get the Samoa Joe injury angle afterwards, which is a strange choice for opening your big show of the year.
Yeah, and as they won as well and retained the belts. So
what does that mean?
Is he going to be subbed out and then Hook gets subbed back in? That would be really weird given that Hook was subbed out in the first place. And now
it's getting very convoluted where Pac got subbed out for Moxley, who lost the belts to the Ops. 1 week later, Hook is subbed out for Hobbs. And now Death Rider Kid is in. But they don't win the titles, and Joe's team does, but then Joe's out with injury. It's like there's two teams involved for the trios titles, but there's been like 9 people involved.
It's a little. I guess it's a problem with trios matches. There's more chance of someone getting injured and having to pull out when you.
Yeah, but I mean, this to me, and you know, this hasn't been confirmed anywhere, but this to me, you know, we've talked in terms of the fantasy league that Samoa Joe is a bit of a wild card in that he does very well, has been doing very well this year.
Yeah.
But every summer he disappears to go film Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
So, which I assume that's what this is. Like last year, Jericho put him through a wall, which they never came back to, but good, because I don't care about that. But here, you know, he has the chair put on his head and he's stomped on. And that's presumably riding him out until whatever, October, November, whenever he comes back, you know? Which, again, what does that mean? Do they vacate the titles and do a tournament? Do they just have Hook come and, you know, fill in? Or, I mean, really, my question is, if the reason is that Joe is going to go and film TV or whatever, and you know that's going to be the case, why do you have them retain here rather than like take the belts off them and give them to somebody else?
Yeah, you know? Presumably it's like they want the Death Riders to lose because this is the big comeuppance for the Death Riders, but then it doesn't really make sense.
But just have somebody else in the match then.
Yeah, have someone else in the match, or have someone else in the match, or just do switch the belts beforehand, or do something. I don't know. It also was a bit of a down. You know, they did the whole Samoa Joe angle. They did the Owen voice. They treated it really like, oh my God, Samoa Joe might have died here in the ring tonight. Yeah. And like, you know, he went through a wall last year, as you say, and came back fine. So I'm sure taking on the chair move here would be all right. Yeah. Yes, they did that, but that was such a clash because then we got the actual real Adam Cole thing shortly after this, the match. So you have this fake like injury angle to a completely legitimate one, and so you had like a fake downer and then a real downer in the first 3 matches of the show, and it just cast this kind of like. At that point, I was getting a bit like, oh God,
the audience were a little.
Well. We're heading towards the iceberg here. We need to like course a bit.
I mean, the other thing that I would, if I were to nitpick, is that spot where Claudio puts the chair on their head and does like a stomp on it. Doesn't really look very devastating.
No, I could probably say that.
Like fine. It doesn't look. You know when they put the chair on the leg for like the Pillman spot. And they do an actual stomp. They stomp down on it.
Yeah.
It feels like he doesn't quite. He does like a 30% stomp.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't look like
it's too dangerous.
I know,
but to actually do it, it's a problem.
It's an illusion. It's magic. You can figure out a spot that injures someone that looks impactful and believable. You know, when I saw this spot, and then also they did it twice. They did it also with Osprey later on. It just doesn't look very good. It doesn't look like a move that would, his neck's broken or whatever. You know, just put the chair on the arm and jump on the chair and make it look like you broke his arm. There you go. That's the same purpose served. You know.
Yeah. So we had that. They got wheeled Joe out. We got a few ads. We got Kevin Hart. We know. Did you have any audio on the?
No audio on the hard ads.
Every time they played it, there were no audio.
There was 1, 2, or 3 in where the second half of the ad, the audio did pick up, but didn't.
That was strange. We went into the casino gauntlet, the men's.
Yes,
gauntlet. I'm just looking at the order of entrance here. So we kicked off. Obviously, we knew Mark Briscoe and MJF for 1 and 2. So that was good.
Yeah, I mean, things off. What I didn't like is how many of the entrants they announced in advance for this match.
Yeah.
So like even the graphics had MJF, Briscoe, and then some graphics had Mystico, and then some graphics had Takeshita, Brody King, Ricochet. Yeah. Like. Again, when we went to All In last year, you could make the point that the casino match was like the highlight of the show. We didn't know anybody who was in, not 1 or 2. We didn't know if Okada was going to be on the show. He just wasn't announced for a match. So when he came out, it's just, like everybody was a surprise.
In hindsight, it was like, obviously,
of course, he got
Okada on the show. But I think that last year set such a high bar with the number of surprises and debuts and just craziness that I was expecting a lot from this, and I found it very disappointing. I
thought the match itself was still very good. It definitely could have used 1 or 2 more. And this was the problem, is that there were like 14 entrants, I think, but like 8 of them were announced in advance, and then the other ones were, with the exception of a Big Juicy, were just guys. I mean,
It also had, for me, so I didn't particularly enjoy it because it had that feel of the kind of midpoint of the Royal Rumble where there's just a load of guys in there laying around, going, doing the stomps, stomp, and like nothing's really happening. And they're all lying around the ring, and the 2 guys in the middle are doing their little bit. I just didn't like the booking of the match, and as you say, no surprises. I was listening to Post Wrestling, and I think they actually thought that this was a sort of virtue of it, that it was the existing roster that was kind of making up the match, and they were all getting good reactions as well, and that's fair. But to me, I think with this match, they trained us last year to expect some surprises, some returns. We got Juice Robinson. I did enjoy that. I thought that was high point the guns coming out too. Although he has shaved off the beard, which is.
We react the same way. They're not sure about it.
I look like a sort of prepubescent high schooler. Grow the beard back, Juice. You did great. You did great.
Undertaker gear as well.
Yeah, like clean shaven, like like the British Undertaker kind of thing. British indie Undertaker.
The funeral director.
Yeah. But I enjoyed that. Yeah, and then overall it was kind of, we all knew MJF was winning as well, really. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, last year we had Nigel, first match in a decade. Okay, you can't exactly replicate that every year, fair enough. Zack Sabre Jr., fresh off winning the G1, pretty big deal. Yeah. Ricochet debut.
Yeah.
Okada, Orange Cassidy, people who didn't know were going to be in the match.
That's the thing as well, unusual pairings as well. So, be able to get that. It's a bit of a disappointment for me.
I was definitely hoping, we had built up ourselves, maybe worked ourselves into a bit of shoot. Are we going to get Eddie Kingston? Are we going to get Jay White? Are we going to get Orange Cassidy? Are we going to get...
they just didn't get to come out. That was the problem. They were waiting for their entrance.
Possibly. Roosh. There were people here you could have had that I think would have elevated a little bit. We have the list of people, right?
I've got it here. We have
Briscoe, MJF, Ricochet, Bandito, Takeshita, Mystico. Josh Alexander wasn't announced, but again, is not You're not jumping out of your chair. Anthony Bowens, he was Roderick Strong, Brody King, Juice Robinson, Ibushi, Beast Mortos, and Max Caster. You know, if there were one or two, like if I could throw in there you know, you don't want to just do Zack Sabre again, but let's say like I'm thinking of like the top New Japan guys, like a Suji or a Shooter, or you know, somebody. I would get a New Japan guy in here, maybe one of the CMLL guys as well. I know we had Mystico in there, but like a Mascara Dorada or something like that. Or I know Michael Oku was on the Ring of Honor show, but even a UK guy.
Yeah, Oku would have been good for this.
Just something, or like being in Texas. A Kevin Von Erich. let's circle back to
it. Something, yeah. It's a disappointment for me overall. And the thing was, listening to Nigel as well on commentary and before the show.
Mate.
Some of the people I've seen backstage.
Yeah.
Take us backstage, is he? You know what I mean?
That is a problem when they themselves build it up, and then like who out of that list would your eyebrows go? Juice Robinson, and that is everybody else is there every week. Like, if only they hadn't brought Ibushi back as part of the Omega Okada storyline, I think that would have been great here. And I don't know necessarily if the Okada Ibushi or Okada Omega storyline needed that. While I appreciated the match was very good with Okada and Ibushi, that would have been nice here, an Ibushi return, you know. But I think the match was still fine. I don't think it was a patch on last year's one. I mean, which was just one of the most exciting things I've seen. It also went super long, which is one criticism that a lot of people have been given the show, and I don't think is unjustified either. This was 34:55, which is a little bit long for like you said, a match in which the bulk of it was.
That's fine, but yeah. For quite a mediocre match,
like it was 9 minutes longer than the one we got last year, which was much more satisfying. You know,
much more impactful. So that was the first gauntlet. Then we went into the TNT Championship match.
We had Adam Cole come out first.
Adam Cole coming out first, which I hadn't really seen much online about it. I'd heard the match change, but then when he came out. I was like, okay, maybe he's going to hand over the belt. And he came out, he got on the mic, and I was like, not knowing that this was a real, like, serious thing, I was like, oh, God, was he going to promo for? I was like, just get over the match. I was like, I didn't realize the extent of it. And then, oh, God, this was another kind of, I'm glad they did it here, but it's kind of one of those things that ideally you probably want to do on TV rather than in the middle of a pay-per-view. Because again, it was just a sort of real downer after a few sort of not great matches and the Samoa Joe angle and everything. Like, so
also more length onto the show.
Yeah, it was a bit cryptic, but I think overall we kind of know
concussion
what's going on. Yeah, the long term impacts of that. So he was genuinely weeping with tears. And he kind of picked up. I think he tried to lift himself and lift the crowd up. So it was nice to see. I mean, I think we all love Adam Cole. He's a lovely guy. Old Chugs.
Old Chugs.
Very, very sad to see. But then that leads into the slightly weird match where number one contender Kyle Fletcher took on previous champion Daniel Garcia. And then the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions as well, for some reason, like qualified them for being in this match. And again, crowd very, very quiet for it. Obviously not a great match, as you'd expect, given they didn't have a lot of time to prepare. It was just a kind of thrown together 4-way. So it was fine. I was excited because I thought at the end that Daniel Garcia had won.
Okay.
They did like this sort of inside cradle roll up, whatever it was. And I was like, oh, see a few points from me.
No.
And then Michelle was like, no, Daniel Garcia didn't win. It's Dustin Rhodes, is it? Oh, okay. bit of a nice moment, moment out of something kind of negative. They poured stuff out of it.
Yeah, so he did very well, fantasy-wise. 2 wins on the show. 2 pay-per-view wins, triple points for All In. So he got 2 there, and a championship win. He wasn't the highest on the show. I think that was Hangman Page,
right?
With the world title bonus. But Dustin Rhodes doing very well for himself. Nobody had him drafted, of course. I mean, look, you take a bad situation. I think Tony Khan said himself on the presser. You get given some really unfortunate lemons, and you try to make some lemonade out of it. So the fact they gave the hometown legend the win here, I mean, I don't hate it. I do feel a bit bad for Kyle Fletcher, who was the absolute nailed on favorite to win here. So I'm sure he's a little bit like miffed about, obviously probably understanding of the situation, but also this was his thing that kind of got snatched away last minute,
He'll get his moment.
I mean, I would expect it won't be very long before he is, booting Dustin Rhodes' head out into the crowd and taking the belt off him. I would expect probably by Forbidden Door, Fletcher will probably already be the TNT champion.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
but
yes, this was fine. They did the best they could, I think, of a bad situation.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to mention to have a little bit of a silver lining.
Yeah.
To a bad situation. Danny Garcia's first ever All-In match, by the way. He had never wrestled at an All-In before, so I just probably for him, not the best circumstances, but he did get to wrestle on one of these. So
next year as a proper match lined up.
As well. Yeah.
That led us into the first of the big matches.
Yeah. So when the crowd are not doing are not too hot, and when stuff's not going super well, get the old break glass in case of emergency box out and wheel out old young Bizzles and Swerve and Ospreay.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, when this was going to be next, I thought, okay, well, this will pick things up a bit. Then they did a sort of, we had quite long entrances for Ospreay and Swerve. Swerve got the Shaka Khan, which was
with JoJo Offerman singing.
JoJo Offerman, yes.
It was. I would have liked my one thing. Sorry, I'll let you go on in a second. My one thing, I would have had Swerve come out to the stage during Ain't Nobody, and then you can do Whose House, and then you go into the.
And then he goes into the
fact that she just sang it on her own. I'm sure a lot of people didn't understand what was going on, and then his music played and he came out. I would have had that be a little bit more interwoven. That's the only thing.
Yeah. They did a lot of that, a lot of kind of singers, but not really playing the wrestlers out. It was like they came out, did a piece, and then you did. It was an interesting way to do it. Ospreay's entrance was kind of just like a rehash of last year's with the
but not as good
stuff, but not as good. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they.
I mean, his entrance last year, I think, was one of my favorites of the show. That felt like a huge spectacle, and as you say, this one was. I don't know, just didn't hit quite the same.
It was very, very pale imitation. So as I say, like the crowd were very kind of down after what we'd seen so far. So perfect time to do a 12-minute Young Bucks entrance where they come in on a boat reciting a Declaration of Independence, which I don't think anyone knew what was going on. And then it took a good while to get off the boat and get out to the ring as well. So
this was a little bit like I thought I was watching Randy Orton against Jey Uso or something, where the entrances were suddenly taking 15 minutes each.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a fan of entrances that go on interminably, but for your WrestleMania of the year, I'll give them a pass. Because entrances typically in AEW don't go on forever.
They don't. I don't mind it once a year, but again, this entrance just wasn't.
I think the fact that all 3 entrances were super long,
so many big entrances,
it did feel like, oh my god, the last match ended an hour ago. We still haven't started here yet. Luckily,
bit of a lull, bit of a slow one, but yes, once they got going,
oh baby,
I think a lot of the people on Blue Sky who were saying, "Is there a problem? The audio is not very good, the crowd aren't very good." Well, during this show, actually, that wasn't the problem. It was just that they were reacting to something that they wanted to see. Because during this, they really started to pick up, and you could hear the crowd really getting engaged. I think the match was, the story was really Young Bucks are the tag team specialists. And
I love this. I love the story of this one, that there was a very specific...
Great singles wrestlers was the idea. And we saw a little bit of that at the beginning with the Bucks doing a lot of kind of double team moves and taking them down. But then Ospreay and Strickland had obviously worked on their double team moves, and they brought some of those out, some combos and stuff. So it was a really, really good battle. And this, of course, was a stipulation of EVPs versus... Ospreay and Strickland not getting a world title shot for 12 months. As convoluted as that was, and as much as I think last week I said what a stupid stipulation, it did put the result in doubt, because I thought the Bucks might win. I didn't probably gun to my head would have said Bucks are going to win. So it did work. It did its job.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I loved the story of the match. I mean, God. Who says that the Young Bucks don't do psychology? Or, I mean, I still saw some criticisms of, but they're not kicking, they're not selling the Canadian destroyers. Huh.
Good.
This match was the type of psychology that I enjoy. When you watch a good movie and you have the surface level plot that is happening, but then you also can read into, well, actually what's happening here is they're telling you without telling you that, this is actually a story of this person's journey from adolescence into adulthood, but we're telling it through the means of like a zombie movie or whatever.
Right.
Here it was a wrestling match, but if you were paying attention, you could see the little, like you said, breadcrumbs dropped in terms of how the Young Bucks showed that they were the better tag team versus, and they weren't just, keeping one guy in the corner and not letting him get the tag. Even the way they did that was super unique and super creative.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for me, when we talk about match of the night, it was a toss-up for me between this one and one other one, which we'll come to later. But I thought this was, I mean, all four guys were on their A show. They were on their A game. There was this was one of the best. I mean, this would be, for me, is up there with Young Bucks, Omega Page.
Sure. Very much
because there was that extra layer to it.
Yeah. I thought very, very, very good match. Ospreay and Swerve won. Banished the Young Bucks back to the locker room where they belong. So hopefully we don't get any more heel authority figures. I think we could do without that for a while.
I think
it's just
they've got the feedback. I think they got the notes on that.
Yeah, let's just put that to bed and let's get back to them in the tag division having tag matches like this.
I don't think we will see any authority figures, good or bad, for the next 5 years. I think they've done the heel ones and they did the Chris Daniels experiment.
Yeah.
I think they know that it didn't work out.
It's such a crutch in wrestling to go to that.
People don't have an appetite for it.
No, and we saw it. In the first few years, it was just, Tony Khan has made this match. That's it.
Fine. That's all I need.
It's the Jack Tunney thing. So there's someone in the back who makes a match. You don't need to make them into a character. It's fine. So first really good match of the night. That led us into the women's casino gauntlet match.
Better than the men's, I thought.
I enjoyed it a lot more than the men's. In terms of the lineup, but also just the execution of the match, I thought it was a lot more creative. Like, it wasn't just people lying around while someone else did spots. Like, there was a lot more group kind of activity. There was a lot more interaction between all the different wrestlers.
I mean, there was the element as well of they had only announced Statlander and Bane.
Yeah, Bane, yeah.
And so literally every time the clock started counting down, it could have been anybody. Whereas with the men's one, you're like, well, I know Anthony Bowens still has to come out because he's been announced for this match, which I think is a crazy decision for them to have announced. I get they're still trying to sell tickets or whatever, but next year, Tony, for doing this again, I don't even want to know who's number one and number two. Just, we're doing a men's gauntlet. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Don't give us any more. The more info you give, the less of the mystery you get. The more mystery is stripped away from it. And that's, I think, in addition to the match actually just being a better match, I think that's why I enjoyed the women's one better, because every person who came out could legitimately have been anybody.
Yeah. So we got, yes, as you mentioned, Statlander and Bane kicked things off. Willow Nightingale, always good to see her. She and Statlander had a little stare down. Tamello, Tekla, who I just like more every time I see her. She's just got something about her.
Yeah.
She's really good. Julia Hart coming out. Not as spooky as she was.
I love that she came out first to the song. And then as soon as they went into the main bit of the song, she just ran down to the ring.
Yeah, just like one of the Hardy Boys from sort of 1989. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens with Julia Hart. Queen Aminata, and this might have been the highlight of the match, was like, based, I think, of just one fairly throwaway collision match, which people had opinions on. They've now built like a generational rivalry between Tekla and Queen Aminata. As soon as I heard her music, I was like, oh my God.
Here we go.
Oh my God, this is Mark Austin.
I would, like, not ironically or not joking, I would love them to have on Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Tekla and Aminata.
Let's do it. Just shows how, I'll say easily, but like, it doesn't take that much to really build some like fire and chemistry between people. You just, it's one little thing, and then boom, you just keep at it. But that was great.
For sure.
We got Mina, we got Athena, we got Thunder Rosa, who came out with a banner.
And then a couple of debuts.
Yeah, a couple of debuts. Shuri from Stardom.
Shuri, you can't be serious.
Sure, you can't be serious. I'm not familiar with her. There's always these Japanese kind of women's wrestlers who I've never heard of, and then they debut in AEW, and I see people online be like, "Oh, she's basically the Bryan Danielson of like this Japanese wrestler." like, what? I've never even heard of her. My good God. But she looked really good. Very kind of
composed
with those good, composed and precise, and kind of and exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So impressed by her. And then Alex Windsor as well, making her debut.
I thought that's great as well.
Yeah, again, I haven't never seen her wrestle before. I didn't know too much about her, but I thought she, again, really composed coming into obviously the biggest match she's ever had. I'm sure she mainly worked in,
I've seen her in Dublin.
In crowds of 500 people, not 20-odd thousand. So
she definitely has hater vibes.
Yeah, she was really impressive. So again, would love to see her at Forbidden Door.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, I like the match. I love the spots, especially the big one with I can't remember how it seemed like Megan Bain was going to do like a moonsault off the top rope to the crowd on the outside, and then Statlander
gave her a powerbomb.
Was it a powerbomb? Yeah. And I was like, oh God, Megan Bain's going to kill these.
Also a big pop for Statlander hitting Megan Bain with a better F5 than Bain has ever herself done.
Yeah. That was great.
I'm loving. We're not going to talk about Dynamite or Collision this week because there's no point. I do like Megan Bain's transition to this running powerbomb finish.
Yeah,
much better looking than the F5. So
powerbomb was such a good move for like bigger wrestlers because it's just there's less that I think that can go wrong. You just got to stand there. You're not doing much. You stand there, you lift them, you drop them. Like it's the perfect move. That's why Kevin Nash was able to do it.
He got so far in his career.
Yeah. So yeah, really good match, and it ended. Of course, I thought great decision. Athena ended up getting the win, which people have been kind of clamoring for her to be on the main roster and to get
she should be
and she deserves it. She's really good, and hopefully we get to see her. I mean, her Toni Storm that's still be another good one. So at the women's division, I mean, you look at this list here and it's like there's
we're cooking
3, 4, 5 like singles feuds or matches you could have. I think that would be
my one thing is this was, and including the pre-show, we're nearly like 4 or 5 hours in here. This was the first women's match. I think we could have used another one. Like if they had Tekla Aminata on the pre-show, for example, I think that would have been
problem
better.
Is that would have overshadowed oh God.
Yes, and also we could probably have Shane Taylor Promotions, God love him. You can sit in the crowd, brothers. And Sons of Texas, do we need another American match? Yeah, you had one last year. Don't be greedy.
So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that match.
Yes.
And then we went
one thing
into...
before we move on, Tony Khan did hint then in the presser as well that this is not going to work the same way it did last year as a Money in the Bank, simile. That it is going to be something else. So still pending on what that will be.
Mm-hmm.
I would like if it would be maybe not for whatever the pay-per-view is for Forbidden Door, whether it be like a full year later in the year or something, that they just this is the show where they earn their matches for and you build a storyline towards.
Yeah.
Let's not do another Christian Cage running in every 3 weeks with a briefcase shit, Not a fan of Money in the Bank. It's ran its course a good 18 years ago. Let's not do that, please. Lazy shit as well.
Absolute
so yeah,
shit.
MJF and Athena title matches upcoming. Should be good.
Very exciting. That led us into the tag team match, which I have to say I wasn't too pumped for. What did you make of it? It was there.
Yeah. I liked Hurt Syndicate's entrance again. They were also played to the ring by West Side Gun and little baby
DMZ or something.
Yeah. Little driving license renewal. I think is his name. And then I think part of this that kind of irked me was the completely unearned adding of Christian and Nick Wayne to the match. After it was built as Jet Speed versus Hurt Syndicate, and then they had a triple match which Kevin Knight won. Like Nick Wayne didn't even win the match, and then suddenly they're at it anyway, even though
so we need a way to get Adam Copeland back so quick.
We need to do the whole Cope segment. So if you know you're going to do that, you can come up with a reason to get Christian and Nick Wayne added to the match. Have Nick Wayne win that match.
Why not just do them? Why not drop out Jet Speed and just do Hurt Syndicate versus the Patriarchy? I guess that's heel versus heel, but does anyone really care? I mean, people cheer for the Hurt Syndicate anyway.
Right.
Doesn't really matter. But yeah, just a very weird. It felt like a very convoluted kind of match just to get to an end.
I mean, it was funny because you had these four. You had Hurt Syndicate against these four kind of underdogs, and the first 5 minutes of the match were just the Hurt Syndicate beating the shit out of them on the outside. Just underlying the fact that these guys are geeks. Don't worry,
they're not in the. They're not winning. No,
but it did feel like the match only existed to set up the post match.
Yes. Which match ended. FTR were ringside for commentary.
Their commentary was very funny. To be fair,
they were quite funny. Yeah, they were interacting with Tony Schiavone, cracking some jokes. That was good. What was it? He said, "We're in the top 3 teams of all time, and we're not 2 or 3." I think that was Cash's line. So that was good. And then we got the kind of inevitable or expected Nick Wayne turn on Christian Cage, along with Mother Wayne and I guess
Kip Sabian was there.
Kip Sabian was there as well. I don't know if he turned. Who cares really? A funny one, given that, as people pointed out, Christian Cage is like the piece of shit in the group. So why did it make sense for them to turn on him? But I'll be honest, I don't care because I just want to get to Edge and Christian.
I mean,
I'm not really that bothered about
it. Makes sense that Nick Wayne had been mistreated by Christian constantly throughout this thing, which typically you would play as Nick Wayne turning on him would be the Nick Wayne babyface. I ain't taking your shit anymore. But I mean, I guess the way they did it as a kind of a cowardly attack from behind with FTR, it was coded as kind of a heel turn. And I like as well that when Cope did come out, okay, first of all, the funniest bit of it is that they're going to give Christian the concerto or whatever. And you think you know him hits. But Hogan must pose. And he has to run over first over to the crowd.
Straight to the left.
He's doing the Jeff Hardy thing. Juking like Jeff Hardy before he makes a save. And then he has to do his pyro pose first.
I love the pyro. I didn't mind the posing, but then the pyro as well. I mean, come on. How did they know he was coming out? What?
Why didn't they just hit him in the head with the chair when Cope was making his
34, Adam Copeland and Christopher Pyro. How did they know he was coming out?
Why did they wait for him to come down and not just maim Christian instead? I do like when he came out that he did say to Christian, he didn't give him the big hug and say, "Hey, Christian," just because Nick Wayne turned on him. He did say, "Look, go find yourself."
He's like, I've had enough of you, so let's sort things out. So I do like the idea, maybe they'll explore this of like Nick Wayne becoming the bigger monster than, like,
right.
Christian's created a monster, now he, as bad as he was, Nick Wayne's going to be worse, kind of thing. Almost like the Emperor and Darth Vader kind of thing, kind of scenario.
Right, yeah.
I guess that makes, I don't know who Luke Skywalker is. Maybe that's Copeland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was fine. That got us a nice pop, nice return for Copeland. And sets up, hopefully, we get...
All out Toronto will be Edge Christian versus FTR.
I'm sure we get FTR. I tell you what, I would love if that tag team continues till next year to All In, and we get Edge and Christian at All In next year. I will... Oh my God, please, I'm begging you.
You love a little Edge and Christian, do you?
Mr. Tiny Khan, my favourite tag team of all time, please.
Okay. Well, let me give my little, please, Mr. Tony Khan.
Uh-huh.
You can have this idea for free, Tony, right? One thing that I don't want is that Christian, in finding himself, just reverts back to outwork everybody T-shirt Christian. I want the big moment where he joins with Cope. Maybe Cope's getting attacked. Christian Cage comes out, still looking exactly like heel Christian Cage, tears off the turtleneck, white turtleneck underneath. There you go. You got it. You can have that for free.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's the one thing I don't want as part of this whole thing is I don't want him to totally just go back in time to how he was before.
Yeah.
Let's get a new version of who he is today,
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So that was the tag match that took us into the triple main event, which started with Timeless Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Most anticipated women's match in AEW history.
Yeah.
Until Tekla Aminata tune.
Get their preview match.
So Mercedes came out first, big entrance, cheerleaders, lowrider, big coat with all the opponents' names on the back, which is quite cool.
Anniversary streak,
yeah. So that was great. And then Timeless. Every time I see Toni Storm, I just think it gets better and better, quite honestly. The biggest regret I have is when, you remember when she came back after the Mariah May angle and she was doing the whole, I'm Toni Storm, I'm a rookie, I'm great to be here. Yeah. And she, revealed it was a ruse. And I think both Barry and I can't remember where you came on it, but we were sort of like, now she just go back to being Toni Storm and drop the whole time.
No, I was never on that train.
That's the biggest. I'll take the loss on that one because that was stupid. Because it just gets better and better every time. She keeps like making these sort of subtle changes to the character. Like now you've got the cloak and the hat. She's doing almost like a noir thing, rather than the kind of Sunset Boulevard or Fall About Eve kind of thing. It's now more of a kind of noir, Humphrey Bogart, kind of Lauren Bacall type era. The look of it is so good. The things they do, the black and white, etc. It's all just so good, and she's just so good at it. She's just brilliant.
I think she's done a great job lately of marrying kind of the potential wackiness of that character with moments of seriousness and self-doubt. And the in-ring early on, one of the complaints I think Barry especially had was the in-ring wasn't quite on the same level as the character stuff, and that was kind of overshadowing it. I think she's found maybe the last 6 months the perfect balance. But no, in this match there were moments of silliness, but then there were moments of seriousness later when it actually counted, let's say. And I mean, like I said earlier, for me it was a toss-up between the tag match and this one. This was my other favorite match of the night. I mean, you'll be surprised to hear the Toni Storm and Mercedes had an absolute banger.
It was tremendous. As you say, the highest praise I can give is that if you can blend comedy outside the ring with seriousness in the ring, that is wrestling perfection. That's it. Kurt Angle, The Rock, Mick Foley, going back to the Attitude Era, like hilarious segments every week. But then when it comes to the match, it's like, okay, this is a proper match. We're going to really go for it. And that's what she's at the moment. I put her in that bracket. She's so good.
There was also, I want to shout out on the Mercedes side, I think the best ever all time. I mean, we talk about, when someone kicks out at 2.9 and the person does oh my God, something like we complain that sometimes it can be over the top. Mercedes hit one of those in this match that was the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't moving. She didn't open her mouth real wide. But it was like the perfect look of confusion and disappointment.
Just disbelief. Yeah. So good. Again, another match where I felt like Tony was going to win if I'd had to go for it, but I wasn't anyway convinced. I could have seen Monet winning. But I think a good decision because Tony is just that good. And you can run this back. Do this. You could do this again next year. Do it all in next year. Do it again 6 months. I don't know.
Tony hit her with the big avalanche Storm Zero. Folded her in half with it, by the way.
Killed this poor woman. This
tiny woman.
But my match of the night.
Like I said, one between the tag match and this one for me.
This wasn't surpassed. But that led us into another incredibly long entrance for Mr. Kenny Omega. It was quite cool, like the flaming Omega sign. Yeah. I'm not too sure about the song, but I
like his New Japan
music. Yeah, it was okay.
I mean, I like that he has Battle Cry for TV, and then when you get the big, it is kind of a Final Fantasy inspired, orchestral epic song. Yeah, I like that you get that for like the pay-per-views or the very important match. It is kind of the equivalent of, okay, you might argue whether or not it's a better song, but it's kind of the equivalent of Danielson coming out the final countdown for the big ones. Right? So I do quite like. I do like the kind of slight campness as well in the song, where it has this big over the top orchestral score, and then it has Kenny going, "Oh, nay, yeah," which I like. It's very silly. Like. I like his Bowser shoulder pads and gauntlets as well.
It did look like New Japan Kenny with the hair tied back and everything. This was very serious Kenny. So this was a unification match, but maybe also not a unification match. Tony Khan has been unclear on that, whether this is a unification match or
what is this
God
thing?
Knows. It just gave the winner a lovely belt as a treat. Apparently they've now got all of them. Yeah. I thought overall this was, high quality as you'd expect, but it wasn't a kind of all-timer or anything. It wasn't like...
No, obviously the New Japan matches were held to the highest of standards. The 7 stars, famously. I mean, that's kind of was my feeling here. I said to my brother as we watched it, I thought the match was quality. But I thought it was like 5 as opposed to 7. And that's the kind of downgrade for me. I still think, like I said, I think 4 of the matches on the show, which are the 2 we've already covered that we both loved, this one and the main, I think all are within a shout of minimum 5. Now, this one to me is the one that's probably likely to just be on the 5 or maybe just below. But I think for me, it was kind of a slow burner to a top match. I mean, by the end of it, I was totally on board with it. And this was, with the exception of the main event and the men's gauntlet, this was the one of the 3 matches that went over half an hour. So they were given time. Yeah. I think Okada, given the time, is better than Okada when he's doing your 12-minute TV match. So I did appreciate that. I think we got a very good Okada tonight. Look, these guys are 10 years past those 7-star matches. I mean, I thought this was great. I didn't have much of a problem with it.
No, it was good. It just, it almost felt like this was being built up as the big, whereas the main event was going to be the storyline match, this was going to be like the
people's main event.
Yeah. This is like the star rating sicko kind of work rate main event. And for me, probably I'd say 4th best on the night after the tag.
But I do like that you had, with those 4 matches, you had the women's match, the death match, the younger 5-star guys, Ospreay, Swerve, and the Young Bucks. And then you had kind of the elder statesman 5-star match, So it was a good dispersal of different kind of styles across the 4, at least.
It was. So Okada ended up winning with the Rainmaker. So it'd be interesting to see, because that positions Okada pretty much probably in the top 4. I mean, I'd see it as Hangman, Swerve, Ospreay, Okada, really, if you're talking about who the top 4 are. I guess Moxley, but now he's been defeated, I think he'll drop out a bit. But interesting to see where they go with this. And it also doesn't bring any resolution to the Omega Callis feud that's been burning for 4 years now, or whenever that's happened. So again, interesting to see where they go with Kenny. Like, is this him kind of questioning himself and saying, where does Kenny Omega go from here? Redemption next year, maybe something like that. Interesting.
I wonder what would be a good next feud for Kenny on the heel side. No, Ricochet isn't up to much at the moment. Maybe that would be something fun to go into. Anyway, no, I thought the match was very good. I was surprised we didn't get a kick out of a one-winged angel or a kick out of a Rainmaker. And I would have frankly preferred the match to not have any interference in it, which it did, of course. Again, if this is the match that you're going to deliver, give us the pure match. Just have Okada win. Fuck it. Have Okada beat Omega. No problem there. But they did have Don Callis pulling out the ref and run-ins from Rocky Romero and Trent. And, I didn't really need that, to be honest. But I still thought the match was very, very good.
And that brings us to the main event. Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley in a Texas death match for the AEW World Championship, which hasn't been seen since October.
No.
So Hangman came out first, and he had another live performance.
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
He had a woman who, one of the best whistlers I've ever seen.
Whistle like a champ.
Well, this woman couldn't whistle, but no, that was really, really atmospheric, really good. And then we had a little clip of Hangman, and then saddle up, cowboy. We're back.
And then you had I'm the cameraman. I'm clearly looking at the heel entrance because that's where he's good. Wait a minute! About the good entrance. Yeah, it was kind of ticked all the boxes, didn't it? Old me. Although I have one criticism again.
Oh,
we had the old music coming out the good guy entrance. Love it. No problem with all that. Mr. Hangman, Mr. Hanger, sir. Where's the moustache gone? Don't look like. The moustache wasn't as prominent as it has been.
He went back to old Page. That's great. I like that.
I like coming back, but I think in his entire run, I think the moustache look has been his best look though. I would have kept the little Don Fry tash. The hair, that's fine. But this was like Christian Cage earlier. I don't need him to fully undo the 2 year. I literally just go back to how he was before the 2 years. I would have kept a little bit of the look, at least to kind of show that this is a forward movement of the character, not a backward movement. But yeah, which I also liked his heel music. Unfortunately, that's a shame that that's gone. But yeah, when of course, love that dome. And all that. That's all great. But I would have, let's grow the mustache back in a little bit, Hanger. And then Moxley just had the standard. Oh no, they came out in a Jurassic Park Jeep.
Moxley came out in an average sized American truck. Drove to the ring. That was quite a cool truck though. I like that. The smoke coming out of it and everything. So that was good. And then we got into it, and it was we had no blood on the show up to this point. No intentional blood.
No, Tony had a little
couple of scrapes and bloody noses, but no real blood. They saved it all for the main event, which was
of course,
and they got straight into that. There was no messing around. There was also no sort of secret blading or anything. Hangman Page just
with a fork
stabbed Moxley in the head with a fork 17 times.
Yeah, I wondered if it was a gimmicked fork, actually. And I was told by my brother, no, it's just a fork. But I was like, okay.
Well, tell him to test it out and see what happens.
If it were, let's say I was Hangman or Moxley. Ooh, look at all this money I've suddenly got. I love it. But if I was, okay, we're doing a fork spot, I would be paring that fork down or sticking on little blade ends onto it. Just that I don't want to be actually stabbed in the head with a fork. I want to be...
Yeah, because I wonder if a real fork would be kind of blunt and it wouldn't actually cut you.
Exactly.
Just hurt.
I'm thinking of the famous clip of like CM Punk under the announce table at All In 23. Let's get that same kind of
I think if it was a sharp
effect.
fork, it would. You can sharpen up a fork a little bit to make it do that. So
that's what I'm thinking. I wonder if they just did that. So, like, it looks obviously brutal where he's jabbing a fork in his head, but I wonder if it was the fork was slightly gimmicked to more easily elicit. Although I'm sure John Moxley's fork doesn't require a ton of work to, but just to have the blood kind of start spurring. I wonder if they did something with that.
Yeah, so plenty of blood. They had a few nasties, but not too many. A bit of barbed wire. Big string of barbed wire, broken bottles at one point, which is nasty.
Yeah, the old shitty glass. Sure.
Yeah, and then a few barbed wire wrapped tables, but not too crazy on the deathmatch stuff.
Well, you had the bed of nails as well.
Well, we'll get to that. But that was like the big finale. Like there wasn't any. It wasn't like, I don't know, inject.
No light tubes.
Bleach.
No
light tubes, bleach,
needles in people's dicks.
So a very, very good match, and I think Marina Shafir was at ringside for all of it, and there was a point where she sort of saved Moxley, and that's what really kicked off the kind of second half and the interference. This is where we got the Avengers Endgame, right? Everyone's going to show up for the big finale. So I think first it was the Death Riders kind of came out.
Well, Marina took a hell of a Death Valley driver through the table at one point first.
Was that when the Death Riders came out? Was it after?
I think it was after. Death Riders then came out, and
then Ospreay came out.
Ospreay came out, which, by the way, is he gone for 6 months now? Like, they did the exact same thing to him as they did to Samoa Joe. So if he's like back in 2 weeks and Joe's not seen for...
Yeah.
That's so weird that like Ospreay surely has to be on Forbidden Door, right? He's all over the advertising.
Well, I don't know why they do exactly the same angle. Why was that even really necessary? I know they needed to get Ospreay out, but surely they could have, I don't know.
They could have shown backstage, Ospreay's been taken out. Yeah.
Yeah, or have him like handcuffed or something. I don't know. So anyway, so he gets taken out.
On a stretcher, the full stretcher job for Ospreay.
Full stretcher job, second of the night. Then who did we get? Who did we get running in?
Well, we had Darby from the top of Mount Everest.
Was that was before? So the Bucks came after.
Yeah. So wait, they had Darby. I wonder if there was some timing issues here, right? Because they had Darby go, Moxley, I'm here to get you. I'm on the top of Everest here, by the way.
I'm on the top of Mount Everest 3 months ago.
And I'm going to stop you from winning.
I'm going to take everything you've got, Moxley.
Yeah, but then Danielson is there. And
I'm coming down.
Darby doesn't appear for like another minute. So I wonder if there was some issue where...
Or I wonder if they knew it would take a while because you can't do the old-fashioned rappel from the ceiling where they just like fucking drop you like a Sting or Owen Hart kind of thing. They do it safely now, so it takes forever. You're just kind of getting slowly lowered down. So maybe it was like, let's have that as a distraction. Then Brian comes in, then that fills until Darby gets down.
But then I also felt like
awkward.
Danielson not coming out to his music felt like a bit of a missed opportunity as well.
Yeah.
In terms of it being, like you say, the WrestleMania 40.
And wearing a blue mask as well.
A Blue Panther mask, yeah. He loved Blue Panther a bit too much, this fella. But I would have had, I mean, there were opportunities here for the old Backlash 2000, The Rock can't even get up moment, where Moxley's just about to, he's going to cut Hangman's head off with the katana. Oh my God, this can't happen. And then that, final countdown hits or Darby's music hits. Like, I mean, there's something to be said for, lights go out moments and people's music play moments. Yeah. That elicit a pop, right? Especially when it's a surprise. So for Danielson to just appear in the ring I felt like you lost the, oh my God, Danielson's music is playing. Here he comes. Same with Darby, that the video just started playing. Like, I would have had the lights go out and then the video.
And then have Darby lower down while the video's playing, because by the time it finishes, he'll probably only be in the ring. Yeah, it wasn't executed. This is kind of where you do want to do the WWE style. It's a bit silly, someone having an entrance for a run-in, but it works. Like
it works.
Say, when the music hits, like, so you have Darby there, and then the music, and it would have been a lot better. But
no, it was still great.
It was still great. I liked the fact that it was them two. They didn't go too over the top with like Eddie Kingston there as well. It was just those two, and those were the two that really
and then
should have been there.
Like you say, they fought off the Death Riders.
They didn't attack Moxley, which I liked as well. They just focused on the Death Riders. It was all about making it a fair fight and making sure that Hangman could win.
And then you're Young Bucks.
Yeah, nasty little Young Bucks came in and time
and
twats, and they got their comeuppance with Swerve Strickland.
Well, Marina went to get the briefcase.
But I'm trying to remember the timeline now. But then Young Bucks still in the ring at that point.
Yes. Young Bucks, because Swerve attacked them on the ramp.
Yeah.
So Marina goes to get the briefcase with the belt in it, and then she finds, I've been handcuffed to the timekeeper's table somehow. And Prince Nana's suddenly there.
Been hiding under the table this whole time.
And
I love that bit though.
Yeah,
Nana was great.
That was great. And Swerve came out, and then he threw in the
chain.
The chain. You got the moments. You got the big the nod. The payoff. Impeccably done.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's so funny because if you went back even like 3 months ago and asked who was going to end Moxley's reign, I would have said either Darby or Ospreay. I would not have even thought that Hangman was going to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
But at some point, I don't know if this was the plan all along or whether they just felt it was right, but it just became so right to not only end the Death Rider storyline and all that, but for the redemption of Hangman after the...
It does feel like these two things were happening at the same time organically, and then it just makes sense to marry them together.
Right, this has got to be the way it goes. Yeah, but it was just so perfect for Hangman to be the cowboy with the redemption arc who's like, I gotta go back to the old me, I gotta go back to the old Hangman and sing the day. It was absolutely perfect.
And we didn't talk about Collision this week, but did you see the Swerve Hangman segment from Collision, which was top notch? Like excellent, where they really buried the hatchet. So Swerve comes out, gives him the chain, nods, like you go cowboy, and then he in a repeat of the finish of the original death match, hangs Moxley over the ropes with the chain, and Moxley, one of the all-time great sells.
That was brilliant, wasn't it?
What a sell! Wowzers.
Oh my God, the desperation, the fear. It was brilliant. It was really brilliant.
Seeing that on Mr. I'm going to take you into the deep waters, man. And you can't hang with me. For him to be, you kind of see that also in other sports, MMA, where the cocky, arrogant character gets choked, and you see kind of that kind of look in the eyes. And I think Moxley sold it impeccably.
Brilliantly. Yeah, and then Hangman retrieved the belt.
The moment where the belt came out, big old pop as well.
Tremendous. I loved that. I was so excited to see it. That was very much the AEW is back. Like the gold,
like the belt coming back is
we've saved AEW. Just overall brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant the way it came together.
I mean, this is kind of, if you think about it, in the 6 years that AEW has existed, this was kind of the first long-term storyline of that kind being paid off. Like if you think of All In last year, the Danielson Swerve thing really only came together in the month or two before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, better than you, baby, I suppose, but that didn't feel like it paid off at All In. All In just felt like one step. I mean, that was one of our criticisms. I think even more so in retrospect, there should have been some sort of definitive breakup at All In. I mean, it seems crazy that they didn't do it now, looking back at it. But this felt like 6 months of build up more in the case of the Hangman story, but like definitively being paid off at your biggest show of the year, which is how it should be. This feels like, as well as, AEW being back, the feeling being restored, which hopefully we can now just like stop talking about.
Stop saying that. Yeah.
I mean, they did it, they did it. So I wonder what's next. What do they have next in store for us?
New era. So we're going Hangman MJF or Hangman versus the Hurt Syndicate, maybe.
Well, we're going to have Moxley Darby, I would imagine.
Darby, yes, that'd be good. Excited for that one.
Still some returns in the chamber. I mean, I know we kind of talked about it briefly and skimmed over. I was super happy to see the Guns return as well.
Yeah, hopefully they're back properly. I mean, they're so good. They're so good. I'd love to see them mix.
Well, we talked about Ricochet. Maybe they're going to do Ricochet and Gates of Agony versus the Bang Bang Gang. That might be the direction they go. But yeah, I mean, look, the Guns are I think an underrated tag team. I think you could definitely do something with them.
Agreed.
Happy to see them back. And then Hangman celebrated with the belt, and that was your show.
It was good. He got his moment. The boy did it. No hero.
Boy did it. So it was a 6-hour pay-per-view.
And which a bit.
I think, okay, again, for your WrestleMania, you get a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
I think your upper limit, I mean, ideally would be like 4. But like at a push, 5. I think 6 is crazy. 6 is way too long.
Yeah, I could have done with. I think I could have done with half an hour off. I'd have been all right, but I was flagging really in the last half an hour. I think having the 2 gauntlet matches is a problem, and this is like.
Well, I mean, when you talk about, okay, I think the gauntlet matches you can do with, but like the Hurt Syndicate tag team match being 18:40, the TNT title match being 15:45. The Ops match being 15. I mean, that's like nearly an hour. You can, you can
get 5 minutes off of each of those. Yeah. But I do think it's a problem because then the gauntlet's going to take an hour plus entrances. It's like,
well, also the gauntlet, the men's gauntlet being 35 minutes. Snippy. But then also, like we talked about, if you were to have some surprises and some returns or some debuts in there, and I also think they haven't quite nailed the idea of like the legend appearance, which is why I jokingly talked about Kevin Von Erich. I think that would make the match feel more exciting and feel shorter. Like it definitely felt very long. Yeah. But ideally these shows would be more in the 4 to 5 hour mark at most. And then your other shows, your Forbidden Doors and your Full Gears, let's keep them to a tight 3 to 3.5. I don't need those to be 4 or 5 hours long. You know what I mean? All in, fair enough. Once a year, it's the bigger than life, longer show. Okay, that's fine. 6 hours still a little long, but let's tighten it up. And then, as we talked about, the fact that the matches were super long, and then also a lot of the entrances were super long, it felt like a long show. It wasn't a show that like breezed by. I mean, what were the quickest matches? Like the Ops match, 14:10 was the quickest match of the show. There was, apart from the pre-show, there was no match that went under 14. I don't know if that Hurt Syndicate match needed to be 20 minutes long necessarily. But yeah, all in 2025, like I said. Maybe if we were there in person, we'd feel differently about it. I still think 2024 is the best of the 3 they've done so far. End to end. Maybe some bias in terms of the fact that we were there in person, but
I agree.
We'll be there for 2026 at least. All signs are that they'll be back.
Let's announce that, baby. Let's announce that.
Come on. Back to Wembo for 2026, which I mean, if we can get a card as good as this one with, I mean, they say triple main event, but I think Swerve Ospreay Young Bucks was very much a
fourth main event.
3B at least. I mean, those are 4 matches of top quality. I do think, like we said, for the gauntlets, knowing so far, like in August of next year, we're doing All In Wembley in London, I would be thinking already of minimum 3 surprises for each.
Right.
If you know someone is coming back, like we talked about Kota Ibushi, okay, Omega Okada doesn't need necessarily his involvement. Like that storyline and that match is already set. We know. So I would have kept Ibushi off as a surprise, that kind of thing. So let's go into 2026 with a couple of surprises kept in the pocket. So that match, I mean, coming off the 2024 match, I mean, the expectations were super, super high, at least for me, for that match. And like you said, I don't know if they delivered necessarily. But yeah. Very good show. And I will tell you, Joe, as well, I did not for 1 second even consider checking out WWE's offerings, which I believe were not very well received. You'd be interested to hear.
There were other shows.
Yeah, they did a Saturday night's main event in which Goldberg wrestled Gunther in the main event. I mean, that's what you get when you so transparently try to fuck with a show like All In. Like, sorry.
I think it's I think a good way to water down their product and burn out the audience would be to keep doing this. So yeah. Paul, as your lawyer, sorry, Paul Levesque, not you.
Yeah.
I advise you to please keep doing this shit because that's great.
I mean, maybe it's just the circles I go in, but like, it didn't seem like they did a very good job of controlling the like media narrative in terms of all the focus being on Saturday night's main event and whatever the NXT show they did that morning was. It did seem like All In was the talk of the town. So
yeah,
it does seem like there maybe had been a little bit of a shooting themselves in the foot, and obviously a lesson to be learned from that. You know,
right? That was All In. Do you want to take us through the Fantasy League update? Quick update on.
I would love to, Joe. Yeah. So, Joe, you were in the very early goings of the show.
I know.
Everyone fucking winning. There is a little point of controversy though, which I want to give you the opportunity to argue against, because I want to be fully transparent on here. But there is kind of a result which did not have a precedence. But I think based on the rules of the match and ultimately what was at stake, I do think that my ruling is logical, even though it does benefit me. I do think the ruling is logical, and that is the Okada Omega match,
right?
Which I have scored obviously as an Okada win, as a championship win, and also as a championship defense, because technically Okada's title was on the line and he retained it, as well as winning Omega's title and winning the unified, which by the way I don't count that as winning 2 titles, although now that I think about it, that might have been
I think
title win.
That's a title win. I think that's you could argue that the defense,
we haven't had matches in AEW to date with 2 titles on the line. So like he defended his successfully. Inarguably that is what happened, and he won the title. So I've given him the points for
it's both. A very rare occurrence. We're not going to see it again. So I think and it is not here to argue. So I think that's fine.
And I did give Kenny Omega the -5 losing the title.
That again definitely makes sense.
Inarguably. Again, one point that I want to talk about is we have precedence. Is I did not dock Adam Cole 5 points for
not
losing,
for a vacation, no,
because we had that with Sting and Darby. Now, admittedly, this is a slightly different situation where it's not a retirement; it's an injury. But we do score our fancy league off of matches.
Not vacating titles.
And he ultimately did not have a match. So as far as I'm concerned, Adam Cole, no negative score there. Although, Barry, if you are listening, or even if you're not, you do have 2 weeks to use your free 2nd July transfer. Again, unfortunately, you probably will need to draft Adam Cole out of your team. And then bring someone else in, which is unfortunate because Adam Cole had been a decent scorer for Barry to date, especially as a number 10 draft pick. He had been scoring very well. You and I have both transferred out our number 10s. Yours was Julia Hart and mine was Pac. Both hadn't done very well. Adam Cole's actually a very, very good pick for number 10. Otherwise, Joe, as we said, you, MJF, obviously with the big win. And I wanted to give you the opportunity as well, because in my full transparency, as I said, with the Okada win, I did make a judgment call. We do have a rule in the rules tab of the file, and there is a little bit of ambiguity, but I did want to give you the opportunity to make your case. Any win of a competition in which the winner wins a physical prize, e.g. Owen, Dynamite, Diamond Ring, etc., it can be discussed at a given time what counts as one of these. So there is a, winner wins a thing in a match bonus. I don't know if that would apply to the winner of this clipboard with a contract on it.
No. It's just a title shot, isn't it?
Ultimately, it is a title shot.
Yeah, it's not right. A prize or a trophy.
What I was thinking was, because last year it was used as a Money in the Bank, right? The briefcase used for Money in the Bank, I would almost argue that is a physical thing that the person uses, even though it is, again, just a physical manifestation of you get a title shot, right?
I'm not sure about that. I think if the I guess we're like the Owen. You're getting a title shot.
You get a belt.
You're winning the thing. You're winning a belt, a trophy, where that is, you're winning a thing and then getting a title shot as well.
Yeah.
But it's like winning the Royal Rumble. You don't get a prize for winning the Royal Rumble, you get a title shot. So.
Right. But when you win the Royal Rumble, you don't physically get given a contract either. You know my point?
It's symbolic. Symbolic contract.
Sure. I'm just checking, by the way, when was the... Okay, we haven't had a Dynamite Diamond Ring competition this year yet. The last one was 28th of December last year, so just outside. Okay, so MJF with the 12, Dax and Cash. I mean, all the guys you drafted in, bringing the points home. So 36 points between them. And then Powerhouse Hobbs with a 14. Kyle O'Reilly only a 6 because that was a multi-man tag match. Powerhouse Hobbs extra 2 points for the title defense meant that you scored a total of 56.
Nice.
Wow, which is very good. Barry only a 53. 12 for Ospreay, -5 for Omega, 32 for Hangman Page. That's 12 for winning the match, and 20 for winning the World Championship. And then 14 for Shelton Benjamin retention. And then I had Tony Storm retaining 14, Bobby Lashley retaining 14 as well. Swerve Strickland win 12. And then Hologram 6, same as Kyle O'Reilly, and 24 for Okada, as we discussed already. 12 for winning the match, 2 for retaining, and 10 for winning Kenny Omega's title and the unified title. So actually I won the show overall because of that. But if you look at the weekly totals, actually, Joe, you have 66 for the week. I have 76 all week, and Barry has 67 for the week. So actually only 10 points in it for the entire week. So
yeah,
not quite as impactful as maybe some pay-per-views are. The triple points, not really as I said, impactful as maybe.
I guess it just cancels out, doesn't it?
To an extent, it cancels out.
If you're going to win, you're going to get the extra points. So
yeah,
would have just all got less points.
Yeah, I mean, Barry prior to the main event was not having a good show. I will say that if Moxley had won, it was not looking good for him. But
yeah,
as I said, Powerhouse Hobbs, who you drafted in, Dax, Cash, and MJF, who you drafted back in, all doing very well. The only one that was missing was Megan Bain. I think that would have been a good win if she had won that. Or if you had Mercedes beat Tony Storm, you would have been sitting very pretty. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was not to be. So that's where we sit with regards to the Fantasy League. I'll just give a little reminder. Joe, you still have 2 transfers left for the year. I have 2 transfers left for the year. Barry has one of his July transfers left, and then 4 more transfers should he decide to make those. Also, with this pay-per-view gone, Tony Storm, Will Ospreay, and Hangman Page have all passed the 100 point for the year mark. Tony Storm up to 113. She is still number 1 in the company. Ospreay then at 108. Hangman at 100. Lashley at 90. Team Joe's Powerhouse Hobbs at 89. in 5th place. Takeshi at number 6, who's about to go disappear for a month for the G1, which I'm not looking forward to. Shelton Benjamin at 7, Samoa Joe at 8, who's again now is injured, so he'll probably drop off. Okada at number 9, and Mercedes Moné bringing up number 10. So those are your top 10 in the company post All In. And again, the other thing is, I wonder what that Ospreay injury will look like. You have to imagine he won't be gone too long, which makes it all the more baffling that he's that they did it at all. Mm-hmm. There's your Fantasy League update. So, All In has been covered. It only took us an hour 40. I'd say that's very comprehensive.
Yeah.
But anyway, how's the birthday boy?
Very good. Very fun week. Been out a few times. Went out for a very nice meal on...
I saw. With very small portions.
It was a tasting menu, so what that means is that you eat an incredibly small portion, but it does taste very good. It was like, sure. I thought, so that was very, very nice and a boiling hot day. Friday went for one of my long walks. Did a cheeky 15-mile walk.
How many steps was that?
It's 30,000.
Oh,
I did probably 35 in the end.
Yeah.
Two in there. Listen to the Lapsed Fan. This walk I've been doing, I'm listening to the Von Erich lamentable tragedy of world class kind of storyline that they do. But the problem is, because I don't do these walks so often, I completely forget what they talk about. So I had to go back to a very interesting one, because it's all about the death of David Von Erich and them trying to shoehorn Mike Von Erich in as like the replacement.
Yeah.
Terrible. Interesting, they mentioned kind of running Texas Stadium in that one as well for the Memorial Show, which was like one of the biggest non-WWE shows that has been in the US. So funny timing. Yes, that was good. And then yesterday, wasn't planning on doing much other than popping out for a bit and then watching All In. But then turns out Michelle had organised a surprise birthday party for me. Which was very, very nice to see my friends out of nowhere. I will say though, Michelle, not very good at lying.
No.
So there was no like, you know, if you're going to do a surprise party, you'll be like,
we have to go. Yeah.
It's like, we got to get to this venue because we're going to do this, right? And then you go in. It's like, oh wait, it's actually, friends are there. We were on the bus home, and she said, "Oh, let's just stay on the bus." I said,
let's just stay on the bus.
I was like,
great.
Why?
That's
and then
great.
We got to this pub, and she just started walking in. So obviously, I do it at that point. I already knew what was happening. So but still very fun.
Still very nice.
Yeah, good, and done in time for All In, which was nice. So we went up and watched that. So that was good.
Yeah.
That's been pretty much it. And then a bit of All In. Had a family meal today for the old birthday. And,
one thing I did get to do was Jack and Marcus were over in Dublin, so I did get to meet up with them on Wednesday of the week. The fact that it was in Dublin made it very handy as well, because I could just jump on a bus and I was there. So I met Jack and his family and his little son, which is very nice, and then hang out with Marcus for a little bit as well. So that was nice. We went down to Sandy Cove in South County Dublin, which is a coastal town. And I had a lovely ice cream. I'll tell you a funny story. I went first. First, we met them in the city centre on the Wednesday. And we just went to a few pubs and that. And then I got home and realised I had maybe 3 or 4 like 7-Ups. And I don't think I paid for a single one. I hadn't like...
Lovely.
I had always intended to get like, I'll get the round, and then it never happened. Like, so when we went to Sandy Cove, I did get the round of ice creams in.
No, nice.
And the weather was top.
Oh, lovely.
But that was like, apart from that, so that was on the Wednesday and that was on the Thursday. So I was kind of busy during the week. And then I did watch a movie just today before we started recording. But that was basically, and then obviously watched All In yesterday. But really very, very busy week. And still, I tell you, there's an update on the purchase of the new dwelling. Is I was contacting the solicitor saying, what's the update? Are we doing this? Can I move in? I mean, we are now approaching 10 months since the sale agreed, by the way. 10 months. So the latest is that they had the people that I'm buying from I think I talked about this before, but our solicitor thinks that they were like badly in arrears and we're actually dealing with like through a bank, which might be reason for some trickiness in terms of getting documents back and forth. You would think the bank would want to get the deal done ASAP, but whatever. But these people, I believe, live in India. Having seen their names, some of the documents, I knew they were Indian, but I believe they now live back in India. So I contacted the solicitor, what's the latest? And she said, some of the documents had to be posted to India to be signed.
God.
So I don't know. I thought we were using the internet in 2025, to be honest, and not literally posting documents to India. But apparently that's what's happened. So I think probably to post something from Ireland to India, you're probably looking at like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then waiting for them to have a chance to sign it, post it back.
Oh, God.
So that's where we are with that. I don't know how long ago that was. I just got the email on Friday that's what we were waiting for. So I'm hoping that's like the last thing. And once we get that back, we can move forward and get this done. I have taken 2 weeks off work, which are starting on the 21st of July. I'm taking the last 2 weeks of July off. And my plan was that if we, had the keys by then, go over and start painting, start cleaning before moving all this stuff over. But it looks like I'm going to be spending 2 weeks just sitting around, which was not the plan. But I mean, it's really not anything in my control at the moment, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll see. I mean, again, maybe if this document were to come in on Monday, then maybe everything will happen very quickly. I don't know, but we'll see. So that's the news for the week. I did watch a movie, as I said, Joe. I watched Hard Truths, which is the Mike Lee. I thought it was very good. I haven't put on the letterboxd.com yet, but I think I probably would fall in the high 7, low 8 kind of range. There were parts of it where I mean, it's interesting. We were talking about Toni Storm earlier, right? Where she rides the line very well between comedy and seriousness. And at times is very comedic, but then at times can be very serious. And it kind of, at the right moment, you can do the right thing at the right time. I felt like this movie rode the line between being a bit on the nose and a bit obvious, and then having moments where it seemed like there was actually more going on kind of under the surface. That I was kind of, actually, that's a clever way of doing that scene or showing this character's emotion. Or, for example, I think the husband character is maybe one of the more interesting characters in the movie in terms of how he's been treated, but how he also treats back the Marianne Jean-Baptiste character. So it was, I thought it was very strong. It did have, and I believe this was actually the case in some of the comments I've seen from Mike Lee himself, is that because of the very low budget of the movie, it does have sort of a feel of unfinishedness to it.
Right.
There are some scenes with some of the other characters, like the nieces and the son, where they show glimpses of their lives outside.
Yeah.
But you don't get a lot of it. And
confusingly, where it's like you feel like that should be going somewhere, but then it
never does.
You only get one scene of what feels like a TV arc.
Yeah.
If it was a TV series, it'd be like, that would be the B story, but then you only get one bit or something.
So I was wondering, like, are we supposed to get from this just that, like, hey, everybody has kind of shit in their lives, and it's how you see, for example, one of the daughters of the sister character has a meeting with, like, where she's pitching to her boss at work this new marketing strategy. And the boss, who's like, again, this is one of the moments where I felt like it was a little too on the nose. The boss is this fucking idiot who's just like, I think what you're doing is crap. And anyway,
I think you're fine. I'm white, and therefore you're wrong. A little bit on the nose, wasn't it? But I'm really interested in that if it developed it a bit more.
Right, but then you see like her and her sister having drinks after lunch, and it seems like, okay, they go to work and have this like shit thrown at them, but they can kind of manage it and go about their lives and be okay.
Yeah.
Whereas the Marianne Jean-Baptiste character is so overwhelmed by
can't cope with anything.
She can't cope, but it becomes her life basically. I did feel like the first half hour as well of her just constantly arguing with people did become a little bit overbearing to me, a little bit cumbersome. Whereas, okay, I get it. She's miserable and she takes it out on people. Okay. And it's like, well, we haven't done the scene in the shop checkout yet. We have to do that. And then she goes to the whatever carpet shop. Whatever it is. Yeah, the furniture shop. Someone's giving it out to her there as well. And that was the only point of the movie where it's like, okay, I get what you're laying down. I got it. I don't need to see another scene where you do the same thing again. Even though the point of it was kind of underlining the repetitious nature of this character's life and how she's got it trapped in this cycle and kind of, to an extent, enables it. And I think that did pay off later in the movie, but there were parts of it where it's a little, like I said, I think there's a bit obvious what you're doing, and I think that the scenes are becoming a little bit repetitive. But yeah, I thought the performances were great. I liked that where the film ends, you don't necessarily feel like, that you've had the classic character arcs. Because again, the point of the story is that a nicer film would have a happy ending where she realizes that
they all love each other and
actually it's
a nice happy meal.
Where kind of the point of the movie is that, if you find yourself in a situation where you can cope like this, it's not as easy as clicking your fingers and life is good.
Yeah.
She kind of is stuck in this cycle of living this dissatisfied life and doing nothing to change. Even though she gives out to her son for doing exactly the same thing, she doesn't realize that she herself is in that.
So there's some catharsis in it, I think, where a lot of these things come out, but not resolution. Which I think can work. I think I can, as long as you're like, if you're somebody who wants a movie that's going to be wrapped up with a nice redemption at the end, happy ending. But I think if you didn't have the catharsis, then it would just be a woman moaning for 90 minutes. And there's not really much, but you do get that kind of like, oh, that's, it blows up kind of thing. So it's good.
That is the thing, is on the surface as well, it seems like a woman just being pointlessly, argumentative and moaning. But obviously when you watch the movie, there's more to it than that. There's like issues with how she's treated by her mother, and she has this agoraphobia, this like anxiety that she really, really struggles with and seems to have had no like help with. I guess it's not like touched on, but she doesn't seem to be seeing a therapist or anything. She's just living with this like open wound, mentally speaking, let's say. I guess the one other thing that I thought was a little, God, I don't want to say like lazy or anything, but like the son being written as kind of I disagree, by the way. The Wikipedia layout lists him as like, with their layabout son. And I'm like, well, he's very clearly written to be like autistic, right? Badly autistic.
Oh, really? I didn't get that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they show him repeatedly in his bedroom reading like a child's book on airplanes.
He's like obsessed with airplanes, yeah.
But the book is like the big book of airplanes. It's not a book aimed at like
and he's got model. I guess it's quite he's quite childish.
Yeah, you see, but he's also lying there holding like almost like a fidget toy, holding the little airplane toy.
Interesting.
But then she'll like, also there's dialogue where she'll say, "Oh, this boy is so shit. I don't even like the sound of his voice." Da da da. And then this is actually like a part of the movie where I liked how the repetition was used. But she says this about the son, but then she also gives out about the father for not treating the son well enough. And so again, it's kind of she's circling back on herself. But yeah, I thought it was very good. I just do wish, like I said, we got to see a little bit more of the lives of those other characters to kind of maybe contrast better with the main character. Because you do ultimately get the sensation of the first half of the movie is her arguing and shouting at people. And, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of maybe even the husband, a little bit more of the husband's kind of side of things. There is a very good scene at the end.
He's kind of an interesting character.
Yeah, I think he's like the most interesting character, but he doesn't get a lot of play.
Yeah, he's a kind of parallel character where you think he's probably as miserable, but he's just not showing it. Because he kind of starts out as this very like happy, you think he's a kind of cheerful, happy-go-lucky, like boiler man type character. But then you kind of see, I think, as it goes on, that he's actually quite depressed and fed up himself. Yeah. So, interesting.
Okay, and then finally we have some video games to touch on quickly. I'll just breeze through these very quickly. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Ooh, baby, I'm on a skateboard. I'm jumping over stuff. Ooh, I did a grab.
Yeah.
No way. It's good fun. I mean, it's as fun as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 were when they remade those a couple of years ago. So I've only played the first 3 levels. But Tony Hawk's is a fun old game to play. It plays well. You do 2-minute runs at each level. You do as many tricks and get as many points as you can. And then you have these individual achievements to try and do, like, try to get up here and there's a little collectible to get, or, get to this awkward to reach place, or there'll be some, minor story stuff in the levels. But yeah, it's on Game Pass, so it's free. But very fun. I'm still playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is still really good. I did finish the first act, which is about 10 hours. The music is still really good. The story is very, like Tony Storm, at times very comedic and at times very serious. But I'm quite enjoying it as well. Very stylized graphics. I said it's like a mix of Studio Ghibli and like Elden Ring. So it has this very, very unique kind of art style to it, which I think is very cool. But yeah, still the music is like the standout, and the music is absolutely wonderful. And then finally, Mario Kart World, which we did run credits on, whatever that means. Basically, if you do each Grand Prix once and win, you roll credits. So it doesn't really mean a lot. But yeah, I feel like Mario Kart World is kind of a step down from 8. I think the course design of 8 was just super, super strong. The courses here are not nearly as memorable or immediately fun to play. Knockout Tour is very fun. Again, the one where it's kind of all 24 players do like 6 races back to back. And if you're in the top 16 after the first race, you make it through to the next one. And if you're in the top, then the next checkpoint is like top 8, top 4. And if you don't meet the threshold, you're eliminated. So it is kind of a one very long race with checkpoints where you're trying to keep in the top whatever number throughout. That's kind of that's the new mode that the game is kind of attracting a lot of people by. The open world stuff I still haven't tried a lot of, but that's apparently a bit of a dead fish in terms of it's not actually very fun. And unfortunately, because the level design seems based around that idea of an open world, it does seem like the game kind of suffers because I don't think it's been really well implemented at all. So Mario Kart World, I'd go like a 7 out of 10. I think if you want the proper quintessential Mario Kart experience, you still go back to 8 on the Switch. I think that is the best Mario Kart game they've ever made. And this one is, okay, they tried something different, fair enough, but it's a step down. So hopefully next time they just go back to Mario Kart. Just do some really crazy fucking tracks. That's all we need. We don't need an open world Mario Kart. Give us an open world Mario. How about that? That would be fun. Like Odyssey, but the level is fucking huge. Yeah. Different bits to it. Like, I don't know, did you play that Bowser's Fury?
No, I never got to that.
Really fun. Yeah. Really fun. Yeah. But yeah, something like that. I don't think Mario Kart is necessarily the franchise to be trying open world with. But yeah. You haven't watched any TV or movies or anything yourself in the week? No,
I think been out mostly, so no real movies or TV
same as myself. I did watch one episode of Poker Face. It was okay. It wasn't very good. It was like one set in a gym with was a Method Man who was in it, and he was, to be fair, very funny. But the episode itself wasn't great. I still haven't watched episode 7 of The Bear. The fact that it's an hour 10 is just keeping me at arm's length for the time being.
Ooh.
But I will try to watch it this week.
It is good. It is. Definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, I think we finished. Oh wait, maybe that was this week. I can't remember. Well, we'll talk about it next week anyway. Maybe Barry might have seen it. Yeah. But yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do us. All In Week is now over. Yeah. New season begins, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully with Barry in tow. We'll get some of his delayed thoughts on All In. I don't know if he's even watched it. He seemed to be at an indie show in Newcastle.
He was at some other show during All In. Oh my god,
he's a true hardcore fan. He's not watching Saturday Night Main Event. He's watching Geordie Championship Wrestling. Yes, we will be back next week with the updates on where AEW goes from here. More film, more TV, more games, more life. And that's going to do it. So from me, it's goodbye. And don't forget to check us out on ChairShotPodcast.com. Subscribe, send an email, like a comment, do a thing. You know the drill. Just
please
get busy. And,
click on everything on there. Just have a
click on things. Have a little click around. And we'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.